bulletproof car. I mean, just that's some
Hey,
Bruce Wayne shit, bro. I'm just saying.
hey, being on bulletproof cars, I got a good deal on it, and I paid cash for it, and it's been great to me this whole time, and I feel great. It gives me peace of mind, and I think that that's what matters the most. And it's a big car. I'm a big guy. I'm a little bigger than most people realize on the internet, but cars here are quite small in Brazil. So I got to get a full size sedan that me and all my friends can get in and be, comfortable. I think it was perfect and it's bulletproof. So it was a good
before we
deal.
get before we get started, was that you felt a necessity to have? Like, if you're gonna live there, is that a must have?
Well, I'll say this. Everybody has their own lifestyle and the type of lifestyle they want to live. A lot of people uh, they live in Brazil in varying ways as far as um, foreigners, right? And so for me, I'm not living at a basic level of a Brazilian, So I know the things I do and the people I'm with, I know that I need to have some extra protection. I can't carry a gun personally. So I'm not going to be in a position where you can rob me at a stoplight. I'm not going to be in a position where you can just shoot at me just at will, So I want to have extra protection. I'm not in the United States. So like I said, I can't carry. So I'm going to have something. And so I think that was the best thing for me.
Okay, okay. Shout out to everybody that's here. Forgive my manners. My guest, I'm humbled to have this man on here. Stephen Story, the IA God. I don't know what else to call him. That's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Um, I can't do you enough justice. Please, sir, introduce yourself. And just introduce yourself, and we'll get into your
Okay.
myriad of life experiences.
Awesome. Awesome. So what's up, guys? My name is Stephen Story. I am from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I have been living outside the United States since 2018. I've been full time out of state since 2018. I was 29 when I left. I'm 34 now, so I'll be 35 in a bit. I have 4,000 students as independent insurance adjuster. I've gotten over 500 people hired. I've had several students go on to make $100,000 in a year. I have had students become managers, go on to buy houses, get out of debt, buy cars, invest in new businesses, all types of things just by getting into the insurance industry and then doing obviously the things I teach. My focus is getting people's money right so we can get their mind right so we can get them their freedom, right? So that's been my focus for the last 2 years. I've been living in Brazil. I'm fluent in Portuguese. I do a lot of stuff down here. And my focus is on, one, not trading time for money. And then two is maximizing my day with hobbies, right? So I'm trying to learn as much as possible through physical activity and through language learning and, doing all those things that impact other people. So that's a short little clip of my life.
Well, let me ask you this: how do we go from Alabama to the insurance adjusting? Because clearly, look like you played sports. I would,
Yeah, I
I
did.
would, I would suspect some college.
Yeah. I did track
Okay,
in college. I ran
okay,
track in college, but this is the thing, guys. This is why nepotism is important. Okay, so my dad had a real estate company. My mom had an insurance company, and so I got licensed as an insurance agent for Allstate when I was 19 years old, and I got a real estate license at 20. So I didn't care about college. I knew that I had two things to back me up that were going to pay me well before I got my degree. And so, like I said, I ran track, just pledged a frat and all that other stuff. And then after that, I was like, well, enough of this. Time to go get some money. I quit school. I was already in the insurance industry, so I went to bell bonding, which is in the insurance industry, with another friend of mine, and we did well with that. And I just stayed with licenses, So I got a few more licenses. My mom gets into the insurance adjusting industry. She'd already been in sales, as had I, and she was like, "Yo, let's do this." It took about 6 months for her to convince me, and after that, I took to it. I had a little hard time getting in, but after that, it was just off to the races, and I got my money right pretty quickly.
So, were your parents not pressed over you graduating college? Was that something they just let you do? Okay,
Entrepreneurship was everything. Entrepreneurship and sales, that was the main thing in the household for me. That's how I was raised. So I got firsthand knowledge on sales day in, day out from my parents, how to run a business. So that was my day-to-day life from like 10 to 18. was how he run the business, how he run the Allstate insurance business, how he run the real estate company, and the day in day out small details of that. And so I didn't need to go to school. I went to school because it was fun. I wanted to party. I didn't, but I was already ready for business. So when I left school, it was plug and play. I went straight into running a business.
Had you stayed, what degree would you have pursued?
Marketing,
Okay.
marketing, public relations, something like that.
So now, what led you to this specific branch of IA per se?
Well, this is the thing, and I think that we all need to be able to self audit, right? I knew I was smart, but I knew I didn't care about school enough. And all my friends that were like lawyers, or they are lawyers now, they were going to law school and like getting MBA programs. It was just so competitive. And I was like, I want to be the smartest person or the person with the most potential in a industry that's not sexy. And so I was always looking around for things that they didn't want to do. So if my lawyer friends or my engineer friends or my accounting friends, I knew that they weren't willing to do a level of work that I was willing to do in sales and marketing and things like that, right? And I also knew they didn't know how to skill stack. And so because I knew that insurance is the opposite side of banking. They're two sides of the same coin. And I knew all my friends were super smart and they were going to banking. And I was like, well, shit, none of y'all are going into insurance. I got introduced to this as a teenager. I'll just keep going this route and I'll have no competition. And it worked out.
Where does the mindset each one teach one to help your people, where does that come from? Was that ingrained in you from your parents? Is that something you just over time so I need to do this to help my people as well? Where does that come from?
My dad had a real estate school. He started real estate school in the early 90s in West Alabama, in Tuscaloosa. So I grew up with my dad teaching his profession, right? And so because I saw that, it's just, again, like I already saw the example, right? So it's nothing for me to make an insurance school if I already see a real estate school. I already knew how he taught his classes and everything. I saw it firsthand. So I'm watching him do this for a decade and a half. So when it's my turn, I know how to do it, right? So it was a lot of plug and play. This is why I'm telling y'all, nepotism is important in the Black community. All right, if our parents are doing it, we can do it easily, right? But if we have to keep reinventing the wheel every time, we're gonna be fucked,
But how difficult is that for you trying to engage people that didn't grow up like you per se, or didn't have the mindset kind of almost
You
birthed
gotta
into you?
you gotta meet them where they're at,
Okay.
You gotta meet people where they are, right? Like I said, I got thousands of students, so I had to deal with those several thousand plus all the other people who were interested, right? And so I just learned what they wanted, right? And so most people want a level of freedom, they want a higher income, they want to be able to take care of their families, right? And there's pressure for men or women or for moms and dads, whoever, to live up to certain roles, right? So the man wants to be a provider, the woman wants to be able to take care of children, or the man wants to be able to take care of children or family, or they want to buy a house, got a debt, so on and so forth. And so I just, as a marketer, I focus on what it is you want. All right. You want the pain to stop and the pleasure to start. So I'm marketing in those ways. All right. And so that's what I've done over the last couple of years. And it's got a lot of people pretty far from where they were,
So is, in your opinion, is IA one of those fields of industry that could help level the playing field between us and everybody else?
Well, this is what I'll say. I think that a lot of stuff has to do around mindset, right? If I can show you that, $15 an hour is not enough and who you can be at $30 an hour or $40 an hour or $500 a day or $750 a day, if I can give you a sneak peek of who you're going to be, right, through testimonials, through my own thing, by my own life, show my own life, if I can show you, hey, if somebody looks like you that did this, these people can start to aspire to these things without me having to make everything super plain, right? I've seen men call me up, hey, Steven, after they got a job, and I told them this what happened. They said, hey, man, my wife isn't treating me the same. She treats me with more respect. We're not arguing no more. I said, well, what happened? He said, we don't have to worry about bills no more. Like, do you know how much stress is in our community? You know how much stress is in our relationships and how we raise our children, how we love one another because we short on the rent this month? It's not because we Black, okay? It's because you don't have the money, all right? Because you're hungry or because the light's gonna get cut off or the car getting repo. of course it's going to stress you and stress the relationship. So we're using something like this, something that's not sexy, insurance adjusting, right? We're going to get good at it, and then we can change our life based around the idea that we don't have to live in lack anymore, right?
Okay, I like that. Um, damn, I'm just getting, I just fogged up now. So I can tell my age now because I'm fogging up.
It's
But
all
how? Okay, field time. Did,
yep.
how much time did you spend in the field before you say, okay, you know what, I've done my time, or is there a certain amount of time once you spend in the field versus behind the desk per se?
I did both. I started in the desk, and then I switched to field, and I went back to the desk. So I've done. You don't have. You can do one or the other. You can do all of them. It's not really a prerequisite that you have to go field or you have to go desk, or you have to go remote, you have to do auto, you have to do property. You can do anything you want to. So many niches in this business, So it's just it's all a matter of what you want to do. I'm a physical guy. I like being outside sometimes. So when it's warm outside, shit, I want to go field. I want to be in Florida. I want to be close to the beach. I want to hop on these roofs and move around a bit with no manager and no coworkers. I want to do that for a few months. And sometimes it gets cold outside, or I want to go to a cool city like Miami or New York or DC or Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Austin. I'll do that for a bit, given the opportunity. But that's how I did the business. But everybody does it their own way.
What would you say under your tutelage, under your direct hand,
Hmm.
what is your success rate, or what would you deem your success rate for those entering the field?
The field of insurance, Justin.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
It's a little hard to say because I can't track how many people actually finish my course
Okay.
and do the whole process, right? But I know that if I have about 4,000 students that taking my courses, and I have about 500 plus or minus that have gotten hired, that's 20%. Is that 20%? 500 to
Yeah.
4.
It's
Yeah, it's
some,
about 20%.
yeah.
Right. So, but I don't know how many complete the whole course and just bought it, right? Or just,
Mhm.
I might have 2,000 people that complete the course. That's a 40% completion, success rate. So I don't know. But off of what I know, 20%.
It's pretty good. Very good. What are some of the pitfalls or the downsides of your industry, if there are any?
Hours,
Okay.
60 hours is typical. 50 hours is minimum. 70 hours is normal during this part of the year. You can get closer to 90 hours at times, you know, but they're going to compensate you amazingly. Um, but I find that also, that you can get your ass kicked by the money because you're making so much money that you'll start spending it, and then you spending like $8,000 a week. Some weeks you might spend $10,000 in 3 days, and now you got to keep working. And you'll see people work for 3 or 4 years straight at 70 hours a week because they went by a big mortgage. They don't know how to get out of debt, right? And so they get chained to the desk, right? It's like that golden handcuff idea. And so you'll see that, and I find that when that happens, they get lost in the saucepan. They just working to work and working to make money and just buy stuff, buy cars and shit like that, and they never take breaks, right? And so I see that, and it affects their health. So that's one of the big pitfalls in the business. You got to know when to stop and take time, you know. And so I recommend everybody taking at least 3 months off every year.
I want to piggyback off what you just said and being
Mhm.
chained to the golden handcuff. So,
Mhm.
is the average person that gets into this and are they prepared mentally for the money that they could make or would make?
No, no, they all fuck it up. Usually in the first year, if I get 10 students do $100,000 a year in a year, two of them did right by their money. The rest of them screwed it all up.
Really?
Um, but you got to think about it. These people going from making $35,000 to making $100,000. They're going from making 40 to making 100. So the problem is your mind has to catch up to the money, right? Because you don't really understand what $2,300 every week is, or $3,000 every week, or $3,500 or $4,000 every week. You just don't get it. And so you used to struggling, and now you ain't got to struggle no more. So now you got to figure out how to deal with the money again. So it's a different problem, but now you're saying yes to hey, your family say, hey, I need $5,000 for this. Hey, can you buy me a new refrigerator? Hey, can you help me with my down payment on the car? Hey, can you help me with the mortgage? Church need help with this. And before you know it, like you're just giving money away, which happens to a lot of my students. But I try to teach everybody, hey, you gotta learn. You gotta learn how to say no. You gotta learn how to put your money up and budget properly. And there's also some things I teach as well. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do give people that caveat that, hey, look, I've seen a lot of y'all mess your money up. You don't got to be one of those people. You don't have to do that, So it's it takes time, but it's not a lottery. It's not a cash grab. You got to treat it like a real career. And if you do that, even if you do mess your money up, I do see a lot of my students go on to get back right, get in order, and and get their money right and their mind right, right.
Let me ask you, how much of that is focused on paying off the debts? Because I know a lot of people that made a lot of money, they got a lot of debt, but they just start focusing on buying trinkets and new stuff. So,
Um, that's a great question. It really just depends. I got out of debt. That's what I did. That's not
okay,
anything. I never bought a car while I was as an insurance adjuster. I had a Honda Accord 2014 when I started.
okay.
I had a Honda Accord up until I sold it. Last year I sold my Honda Accord, and I didn't get nothing crazy. I don't have some crazy bins or nothing like that. I don't have a car note. I don't have student loan debt. I don't have any of that. But I realized after year 2 or 3, I was like, yo, I'm gonna get stuck doing this just like everybody else. I don't want to be that way. And so I just do it. I started doing aggressive debt pay down. And then the pandemic hit, and I just finished it all off.
So would you say that you live the minimalist life to a certain extent, or you just
I don't like to call it minimalist life. I have a
okay,
life focused on freedom.
okay,
So freedom is for sale, guys. Freedom is for sale, and so you got to depend. You got to decide what do you want, right? Is the new iPhone more important than the next month being off? Is that car note more important than next year being off, or 2 years, or next 3 years? And so you got to make some decisions, right? And so I made a decision that I always want to be free, right? And I sacrificed 5 years to get my freedom, you know. And so there's no watches. I don't have no chains, nothing. I don't have anything like that, you know. And now, granted, I have some other cool stuff, but like that's now. That's after I got free, you know. And so I think that that's something that you got to prioritize. Whatever it is you prioritize, you're gonna get. You like trinkets and all that stuff. That's cool. Ain't no problem. But I knew what I wanted, and I wanted time freedom.
now when did you get into wanting to leave the country? Well, I mean, as far as traveling first, was that something you've always been exposed to? Was that
Yeah,
just a natural progression for you? Like, okay, now it's time to see the world.
yeah. I had left the country at 16. You
Okay.
know, so it wasn't. I had always been exposed. Like, again, guys, nepotism. Okay, like my parents left the country early. My parents had us in exchange programs. My parents were also in exchange programs themselves. So I grew up with Japanese people in my house, people from Cote d'Ivoire, people from Germany in my house a ton of times. You know, Kenya, Mozambique. Staying with us for long periods. I'm like 6 months at a time. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Uh, so that was kind of I was already on that, and so the progress it was easy. It's like all right, I'm traveling again. Once I get grown, I'm traveling some more. So that's how I went.
Now, what made you finally land or choose Brazil of all the places?
Um, I always wanted to come to Brazil.
Okay.
There was a a Peace Corps kind of situation where you do like a volunteer half the day, and you do tourism the other half of the day. There was a program like that when I was in college back in like '08. And at the time, if any of y'all know about Brazil, the real used to be really strong. It was like almost 1-to-1 at one point. So it was quite expensive for me to get down here, and it was going to be quite expensive for me to stay here, considering I was still in college. It was going to be like $4,000 or $5,000 for a week. And I just at that time, you know how it is in school, guys. You just don't got that kind of money. You don't even
Right.
know how to get it. And so it was always just like in the back of my head, Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. I didn't know nothing about. I wasn't looking it up on YouTube. I wasn't looking it up on forums for real. Like I was getting like a passing video here and there, but I was always like, I want to go, I want to go. And the opportunity came when I moved to Canada. So I was living in Canada first
Okay.
for an insurance job. And I was living out of the country. I got rid of my apartment. I got rid of everything. And it was so cold in Canada. I was like, yo, this ain't gonna work. And once that contract ended, I came back to Alabama. I told my parents, I said, yo, I'm going to Brazil for 6 weeks. But I knew I was moving, because all my stuff is in storage already. So I was like, well, I'm not coming back to Alabama, and I'm not going, I don't have a home anymore. And so I came here to Salvador, bro, and that was it. You know,
How difficult was that transition for you?
um, I'll put it like this: you don't know how hard it is until after you look back, right? It's actually quite difficult. It was a lot of like that. I had already been out. I was already out of the country, so I already had a system in place for me living out of the country. But living out of the country and not speaking the language and not knowing anybody, that was hard. That was quite difficult. That took a long time. I would say the better part of a year to really get somewhat comfortable. I think it took 2 years for me to get comfortable and 3 years for me to be competent.
So, in retrospect, did you do it the right way, or there's something you thought you could have, if you had to do it again, you would tweak this, you would tweak that?
I would say that the main pitfall I came into was I had a savings
Okay.
and I didn't have an income. So I was good for 9 months with no income. I'm kicking it. Like I'm balling for 9 months. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I had no money for 3 years. But I was balling. I wasn't just playing. I was like really out here like spending money. Now, if I would have done it differently. I would have came with income.
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of Americans mess up at. They don't come with income; they come with savings, and then they go broke, and then they try to struggle to make it, and then they got to go back home. So that's my
Uh,
only difference. I would have a stream of income.
so if I'm not prying, you still dual citizenship, correct? Or you
I have a
Mexican?
visa here. I
Okay,
have a visa here,
got you.
and I'm American. So like, I'm here. I have eligibility to be here for 2 years, and
Okay.
I can extend after that. But I'm like, I can go and come as I please.
Well, let me ask you: when you see our people that give up the American citizenship to live where they're at, is that something
Mm,
you agree with?
Hell
You think
no,
that? Okay. Could you
no.
get into that, please? As to why?
You are blessed to be an American.
Okay.
Okay, like that is the only thing. Like you're black, all right, you're African American. Once you cut that off, now you are black like everybody in whatever country you in, with no perks and no benefits. That is a dangerous place to be in. All right, because as an American citizen, that's what you are. When you was born in America, you was born black, whatever your gender was, and an American, all at the same time. You have benefits. You have the American justice system, the American tax system, the American military behind you. If something were to happen, the American embassy, and the American banking system, which is the most important thing out of all these things. All right. And so when you quit being American, you give up your passport, whatever that is, and you allow yourself to be taxed at whatever rate you're going to be taxed at in these countries, you put yourself at a big disadvantage, I think. But again, I'm in business, so I want to be in the American business system. But for y'all who got whatever you got going on, you got your own benefits. I can debate that in the comments. But for me myself personally, I'm American from now on forever. You know what I'm saying?
What are some common misconceptions people have of Brazil? Because I have yet to see one video of someone like, you know what, this may not be the place for everybody. I don't know. This. I see all
Yeah,
the other countries. Everybody got the horror stories. I don't see the Brazilian horror stories.
yeah. All right, let's Can you give me categories of misconceptions?
Yeah. Well,
Then I
okay.
can
First, let's do this. Let me ask you, what's the draw
to Brazil.
to Brazil? Yes.
I'll say my draw, and then everybody else can say what their draws are. When I came for Black people.
Okay.
Um, I felt that Black people in Brazil were the closest to our struggle. So
Okay.
because they're going to be closest to our struggle, um, I also knew that we were going to have a lot of similarities,
Okay.
right? As far as how we live and how we have our families, all that stuff, right? And which I was right about. And then also the weather's amazing. I live in the Northeast, so it's like living in the Caribbean.
Okay.
It's a ton of Black folks out here. In my part of the city, my part of the country, Sao Paulo, Rio is different. Going to the south is different. But in the north, it is black, black. It's blackity black, and I wanted to see that. I wanted to be around that. Um, I like being physically active. I can swim, I can hike, I can shoot out here, I can surf, the capoeira, I can dance. There's so many things I can do culturally that other people are also involved in too. So I'm not just an outlier. Like it's a lot of folks doing all the things I just said. Um, I think that for me, quality of life was big. I haven't felt anxious in 4 years. I haven't felt frustrated in 4 years. I
Okay.
haven't felt an extreme level of anger or rage or frustration. I haven't raised my voice in several years. I get great quality of sleep, but I also live next to the ocean. So I mean, I get to live a life of leisure, in my 30s, and I'm not retired. So I think for me, like that was my draw. Is like I get to have quality of life. I get to have things that would take another 30 years for me to get or to experience if I was in America. And so I'm like, hey, let's do it. Sign me up. Shit.
How was the reception when you got there?
Reception as far as the people.
Yeah, from them to you when you
So I'm
first
gonna
got
tell you
there.
like this. My daddy said you can't hug by yourself. So I hugged them and they hugged me back.
Okay.
So like I signed up immediately for capoeira. I got into a dance class. I got right into the community from the very beginning. I was like when I got to Brazil, I didn't do anything touristy. I didn't go to museums. I didn't do none of that shit. I went straight into capoeira classes 3 days a week, dance classes 2 times a week. So I immediately had a community. When they told me to come out, I said yes. If it was birthday parties, I came. If it was a barbecue, I went. I was always participating. And so because I participated from the very beginning, I got a lot of love from the very beginning, even when I didn't speak Portuguese.
Do you believe that should be the standard operating practice for those that move to another country? Like, is that the first thing you should do is dive into the culture, into the community?
I think that it's a requirement when people come to the States. We want people to speak English,
Yeah.
right? And so I think you have to have a level of respect for everybody else. You come in and you try. Everybody, we all know you're not going to come in being fluent the first day, but you got to try. Pull your phone out, do the best you can with Google Translate, and you just try every day in, day out. And before you know it, you're going to get something. But I think you're a real dickhead. You go to another country and think they need to speak your language.
Okay.
You know,
The downside of Brazil,
hmm.
are there any? Is it a lot, or you haven't come across that
let's
to a point
let's
where it
let's put it
haven't deterred you?
let's put it like this. Fuck, man. I let's put it like this, man. Bureaucracy is a big thing for banking.
Okay.
It's a big thing when you start dealing with contracts and things like that. They do things a little differently. It can kind of be quite frustrating at times, actually. I also think that Brazil can inconvenience you severely if you're broke. It's a quite difficult country to be in if you're a poor person. I think as an American, it can be quite difficult if you make less than $3,000 a month, or if you're not willing to spend more than $3,000 a month. It can be quite difficult. Your level of service is at a much lower level. The way you experience the day to day, it can be quite frustrating, in my opinion, for people who aren't making a good amount of money.
Mhm.
Things get pretty easy if you're making over $5,000 a month. In my personal experience, $5,000 US, by the way, guys. It's not reais. It's 20,000 reais. I think that life can get very easy for you if you make over $10,000 a month here. It can get really, really easy. But I think the disadvantages come when, and again, I'm gonna speak about Americans. I see a lot of Americans, they kind of, po pimping, for lack of a better word, they po pimping out here. They come out here, they live in a $300 a month apartment in the hood somewhere. They run out of water. Like people run out of water out here. Like your apartment building just run out of water. Your house will run out of water. You just won't have no water to take a shower or nothing. That happens. You'll run out of gas in your kitchen because you got a little propane tank or whatever. I see that happening. But again, you got your money right. So, you can get quite inconvenienced here. Riding buses is a long trip, real long trips, riding buses instead of taking an airplane in this country because they don't have interstates that just go straight to places. They got to go all around like that. So, what else? The police. Okay, I'm not going to speak too much on that, but you live in the hood, you're going to deal with more cops than you would if you live in a nice area. That's just how it goes. Um, Crime, you know, the lower your neighborhood, the higher chance you're going to be around crime. And crime here ain't nothing to play with, you know. So again, this is all things to think about, but I didn't experience that. This is what I've seen other people experience.
So from what you've seen, would you is the stress level between of dealing with cops and crime in Brazil more or less than cops and crime in America from what you've seen?
It's a lot more.
Okay.
Crime is pretty rampant. It's always a thing you're gonna be thinking about every day. Wherever you are, unless you're in a closed neighborhood, we call them closed condominiums. If you're not in a shut off area, you're always thinking about petty crime, getting robbed, getting stuck up. You know, those kind of things. It's happening all the time. I know people getting robbed all the time. Like probably 4 friends in the last month got their phone stolen. Some were American, some were Brazilian. That's usually the big crime here is like get your chain snatched, getting your cell phone taken, stuff like that. You don't really see nobody just getting like shot up and beat up and stuff like that. But it does happen. But
It, is that more of a crime of proximity and income level?
proximity.
Okay.
And just being careless too. You just walk around with your cell phone any kind of way. You put it all in your pocket, laugh ass. People gonna pickpocket you. They not just run down, just pistol looking for your phone. They might up on you. They might pull a gun on you. Give me your phone. That happens too. But you just gotta be smart. Don't make yourself an easy target. You'll be fine. You know,
As far as the income, is it best to have income coming in from the states as opposed to trying to set up?
only,
Okay.
only
Okay.
geo arbitrage, guys. Geo arbitrage. Go find that out. Go look up the definition. American dollar is one to anywhere from 5.1 to 5.4 right now. You do not want to earn in reais. It gets weaker every year. The dollar is still the world standard, the world standard currency, right?
Mhm.
So you want to make sure that you're earning in dollars. I don't recommend anybody coming to this country to live. You don't make less than $3,000 a month. Consistently, $3,000 a month minimum. Okay. Um, but again, guys, I'm not talking about a base level traveler that's going to be just getting some little basic apartment. I'm talking about you want to ball. If you want to live really well, you make at least $3,000 a month, US, every single month.
How is the traffic or the infrastructure compared to America?
It depends. Sao Paulo is amazing. Sao Paulo is like New York or Newark, New Jersey. Like ain't no potholes in the streets. Like some really good transit systems. I rode the subway last week in Sao Paulo. It's amazing. You know, in Salvador, they got a lot of buses here. They got a metro system as well. They get you around most of the city. I don't ride public transportation. I don't see any point. Uber's too cheap. And before I don't do Uber anymore. Like I got a driver now, but like you don't need to do that. Uber's $1, $2, $3, $10 max. So you shouldn't be riding public transportation here. If you're doing what I'm saying, if you make $3,000 a month, you shouldn't be riding public transportation. But it's your prerogative. I don't ride public transportation because buses get robbed. They'll come in there with a gun and rob everybody on the bus. They do that. They'll hold everybody hostage. They do that too. So you never know when you're gonna get on that bus and it's gonna be some wild shit happening because it go all over the place, right?
How important is it to establish a relationship with the American embassy there?
I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
I ain't did it yet, man.
Is that
But
something you feel you need to do at some point, just so you're on their radar? Like, hey man, just letting y'all know I'm here, just in case.
I'm documented as being here, right?
Okay.
Because my visas on things like that. But for me, this is how I look at it. I'm gonna make sure I got enough money to get an airplane ticket home tomorrow. Okay, check the airplane price, the airline prices for the ticket home for the next day. You need to have that much money in your bank account every single day.
Okay.
If anything would happen, emergencies, political unrest, you got to get up out of here for whatever reason. You need to have that much money saved and
So
ready
you,
for it.
you already have an exit plan, just in case.
Just in case. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I know we spoke briefly at the beginning about the bulletproof vehicle,
Yeah, man.
but
Yeah.
if you don't mind reiterating, is that standard?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not standard, and it's going to be a little hard to get. You're going to get that. You're going to get like a little license, a little certification saying that. Because cops, when they stop you, they want to know, like, hey, why are you riding around with a bulletproof car? Like, what's up? Like, what's going on here? Like, because they want to know, like, are you a drug dealer or something like that? Like, why do you have a bulletproof car? So you just want to have something to explain why you have it. But
All right.
I got it because I want to feel comfortable.
Okay.
You know,
All
yeah.
right. I want to do a segue real quick
All
because
right.
you made a tweet. You made a tweet the other day.
Yeah.
And all the videos I've ever seen of anybody from Brazil, all they talk about is the women, which
Mm-hmm.
segue into your tweet. In your
Yep.
tweet, you said certain demographic of people coming into the country are,
Mm-hmm.
in your eyes, lowering the standards or messing up for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how prevalent is that? Because your tweet ruffled some feathers, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Good. First of all, I'm like, this is your show, so I ain't gonna say these
No,
stuff
hey
like
man,
this.
no, listen, that's why you're
But
here.
this is what I'll say. Okay, how to not be like that. Okay, like
Yeah.
let's go out let's be constructive in this. Okay, like I don't need to poke at nobody. I'm gonna say this is what you need to do to get respect in this country. First of all, this country has men in it too. Okay, and running behind a bunch of pussy ain't gonna help you learn this country at all. Okay, they're gonna just suck you into being a boyfriend simp kind of guy. That's what's gonna happen. All right. So you need to have men as friends. All right. If you're a guy coming down here, men can help you with a ton of stuff here. All right. This is a patriarchal society, a patriarchal country, and however you want to think about that, men get a lot done. They can get a lot done, a lot more done than a woman could. Unfortunately, all right, that's just how it is out here. And so what I see is a lot of guys get in here, running behind a bunch of women, don't make any connections, right? And what begins to happen is they don't know anything about the city. They don't know any date spots other than what a girl told them. They don't know where to get a haircut. They don't know where to get a tire change at. They don't know where to get an apartment at. They don't know how to get an apartment, right? They don't know how men should be in a country or in that city because nobody's schooling them up on the game or whatever. They don't know barbershop. They don't know shit, right? And so I think that you can chase after women to your own detriment in this place. Also, what I've seen is I'm gonna talk about it, man. I think I've seen a lot of guys run after women that they would dog out in the States, or they would never talk to in the States, right? You're talking to a girl that don't got a high school diploma, but she's speaking another language. Now she gets a pass. You're talking to a woman that's a single mom that live in a place that ain't got running water all the time, but she get a pass because she here and she in a bikini. But you never talk to a woman like that in the States. And so I find that a lot of men lower their standards significantly when they get here. You're an American. You want to get a date a woman that's got a college degree or a master's degree, maybe both. And you want to have her to make X amount of dollars, blah 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 blah, for you to date her. But then you get down here, she making $150 a month, and it's all good, myself included, right? But I was here trying to get my Portuguese up. And the Portuguese got better. I was able to speak to professional women, right? But I find that with a lot of tourist guys, like I got friends that's like doctors and stuff, and they'll be dating like some regular waitress chick. They would never date at home, right? And so nothing wrong with that. I'm just reminding everybody, like, hey, this country has professional women too. They have, they have women here that are educated, really well educated, got businesses, got everything, So something to think about. But I will say that you don't get brownie points for not speaking the language. First off, you don't get brownie points for mistreating people here.
Mhm.
You don't get brownie points for being flashy. I had a friend once. We went to a barbecue in an area. It's my dog. He made a mistake. He didn't know he was doing it, but he had like 1,000 hey ice in cash on him. Okay, 1,000 hey ice. The minimum wage here for a month is like 1,200 hey ice. So imagine somebody pulling out somebody's monthly income
Yeah.
out of your pocket, right? And so what wound up happening was we were just dolling up for some beer. Everybody gave 10 hey ice, whatever. So he pulls 1,000 hey ice out in the middle of the hood, and everybody like turn their nose up and like, the men, not the women. The men did this. Not like they were envious. Like, damn, why would he do me like that? Why he was on? You know what I'm saying? Because
Okay.
it was seen as disrespectful to show that kind of money. It's just in your pocket. You know,
That's
uh,
interesting. I can
it's,
see. Okay, I can see how that could be a problem. Well, let me ask you,
yeah.
because you mentioned it's a patriarchy, but it
Mhm.
seems like that most men that visit there have no real working concept of what patriarchy looks and how it operates, what it looks like. Is that a
Yeah,
fair assessment?
they don't. I would say for men to come down here, you got to ramp up whatever masculinity you think you have. You need to ramp that shit up a few notches,
Really?
because out here is real danger, right? That whole like walking on the side of the street while the one walking the inside, that's some little bullshit chivalry thing we do in the States. Out here, you really got to be ready to get robbed with your woman, because it can happen. You really got to keep your eyes open for real out here and be ready to fight for real, or be ready to run for real, or protect this woman for real, you know, because it's real danger here. You know, you can really get robbed walking out the store, walking out of a concert, walking out of a restaurant. And so many of you guys are not used to that level of possible violence in the United
Mhm.
States. And so a lot of guys walk around here super soft. A lot of American guys really walk around here just lollygagging, just like da 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 with the women. And you really got to step it up on the masculinity, in the masculinity side, because that's what these women react to. Because these dudes around here, these boys ain't no joke. They don't have a bunch of money to get a woman to act right. They gotta be something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They gotta really sack up out here to get some respect out here. So, yeah, it's a lot there. But I think that American men can sometimes come off kind of passive as well to women. Yeah, quite passive at times. They talk about that.
Wow, you're giving me a lot to think about. How much longer do you see yourself in Brazil, or this is it for you? Like, there
I'm
is
here,
no other.
bro. I'm here, man. I told myself I wasn't leaving until I had a family.
Okay.
So I don't have a family yet. I'm fluent in Portuguese, so now I've already went past the hard part. Hard part was getting fluent in Portuguese. Now I'm fluent in Portuguese. Now that it's like, now let's get to work. I don't see myself like getting fluent in Portuguese and like, all right, I'm about to go back to Atlanta. I'm about to go to New
Okay.
York City. Like, no, fuck that.
Gotcha.
No, we're here for a while, and we'll see. I'm American though. I like America.
So,
So it's not like I left because I hated America. I like America.
so 20 years from now, gray beard, gray dreadlocks, you doing capoeira in the streets? Is that what we talking?
Shit, hell yeah, hell yeah. I might have been somewhere else between now and then, but yeah, bro, I'm definitely down with that. That was like a bad outcome in my
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
You
That's
know,
that's awesome. Have your parents come to visit you yet, or
not yet, man. I came down in 2019. Pandemic came right after that,
okay?
so things just not opening up. So my parents are a bit older now, so I talked to them pretty heavily about Brazil next year. So. Uh, These people, man, I tell you what, man, you don't know shit about shit. Okay, it's a
That's
hundred
always
million. It's 100 million niggas in this country. You talking about keep your black eyes? No, fuck you. First of all, you need to keep your black eyes wherever you at with your
there's
scary
always
ass.
there's always
You
one in every bunch.
you are a pussy. Okay, all them black people getting killed in whatever black neighborhood you live in, and your whole ass talking about staying out of Brazil. You are a scary pussy. That's what you are. But anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Have you experienced any American pushback because you are American?
On what?
Um, just any facet of you living there at all. Has it ever come back to bite you in the ass, so to speak, that you are American?
I'm pretty easy. I'm pretty easy going, dog. Most people think I'm Brazilian.
Okay.
They've always thought I was Brazilian here. They'll try to hit me with a higher price on things here and there. Within reason, I'm gonna pay it just because, like, I don't have to argue with you about $8 or $4. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
um, all my apartments and cars and stuff, I got them at great prices. But I also do things to help advocate myself. So I always have a Brazilian as a filter. When I went through my apartment contracts and things like that, I had a filter. I had a Brazilian there to help me with negotiations. When I bought my car, it was the same way. When I
Okay.
do anything, I always have a Brazilian with me. I don't do anything by myself
Okay.
if I don't have to, especially the big stuff.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You
Um,
know,
I know it's late there. I've had you on for 45 minutes. I'm not gonna keep you.
oh, shit, dog.
Um,
Hey, dog. We good. Let's ride, man. We got a lot to talk about, bro.
okay. I guess when you said quality of life,
Yep.
Brazil versus, let's say, the best of best that Alabama has to offer. Which one? If you had to go with one.
Come on, dog. I left Alabama, bro. Like, I love Alabama. I'm from there. I'm glad to be from Alabama. I love it, man. But like, I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now. Right,
Okay.
I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean right there, and I can look at the Atlantic Ocean right there.
Okay.
Like, bro, all my windows open right now. I got a suntan. Like, I got a sunburn. Matter of fact, it's December, bro. Like, come on, man.
So
Like,
the area, and you already scoped that area out. Like you already had a destination in mind when you said, okay, this is the city, this is the area that I
yeah,
want to be in. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I lived in a few places. I lived in a few neighborhoods just to see what was what, which one I liked the most. I
Mhm.
lived in like neighborhoods in the last 4 years, and I picked the neighborhood I live in now. I've been living here about 2 years now, going on 3 years.
So how much prep time you think was involved totally for you?
Oh, we can have.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I was already free. You gotta think about it. I was already free by the time I had went to Brazil. I was already done with all the American stuff.
Okay.
I already left. So for me, I already knew how to pick Airbnbs and everything. I kind of knew if I picked a certain price level,
Mhm.
price point, I was going to get a certain type of neighborhood. So that was always in the back of my mind, and just pick a good neighborhood. And then so the other thing I did, I had a Brazilian virtual assistant. And so again, I never did anything alone. I always had help. So I had a Brazilian that did everything virtually for me. So she would call my landlords. She would schedule my capoeira classes. She scheduled all my dance classes for me.
Okay.
She helped me move around the city those first few weeks until I got connected. All right.
You spoke earlier about the bureaucracy of the country or the city rather. Is that
Yeah.
something you would get involved in the politics to kind of see? Nope. 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 Nope.
Hell no.
Why not?
Nah, bro. I'm American, bro. At the end of the day, my allegiance is still to American politics. Like, bureaucracy here is so woven into the society, right? The culture of what Brazil is, that I'm not about to be I'm not trying to fight that, bro. Like, I'm in America, bro. Like, I don't want to deal with any of that if I don't have to.
So that wouldn't help. So it wouldn't benefit you in any other ways. What you're saying, basically.
No, no, not really.
Interesting.
You kind of grit and bear it when you need
Okay.
to,
Okay.
but nah, I'm good. I'm good, bro. Like, you gotta think about it, man. You know what I'm saying? I can go to the beach or I can deal with this bureaucracy shit. I'm going to the beach. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
that's how I see it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Hmm.
Um, what other places did you are on your travel list at this
I'm
point?
not traveling right now, bro. I
Are
don't
you
want to
just
travel. I've been traveling 5 years straight, bro. I
okay?
traveled a long time, dog. Like, I lived in 15 cities in the United States. I've lived in 3 countries now. Like, no, I think traveling is overrated. By the way, it's generally a waste of time. I'll put it like that.
Could you speak to that, please?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, for the people who are like, oh, I really want to travel the world and all that. Well, that sounds cool, but you won't have a barber. You won't have a waiter at your favorite restaurant. You're not going to have that little thing you like to get at the grocery store. That's only at them 2 or 3 grocery stores. You're not going to have that gas station you go to at night. You're going to miss all your friends' weddings, funerals, birthdays, baby showers, bar mitzvahs, all that shit. Right? If you're going to do this travel shit, like, for real, like I did it, nobody's ever going to know you anywhere. You're always going to be a new guy or a new girl wherever you go. And nobody's going to give a fuck about you because you're the new guy or the new girl. Right? So you're going to spend a lot of time alone. And wherever you go that doesn't speak the language, you're not going to talk and you're not going to be able to hear. So you're going to be deaf and mute, and you're not going to be able to read. So you can be illiterate. So you do that for several years, and it's going to change your self image, right? It can really break your confidence with traveling in the way that I travel. And so you want to go to Cancun every once in a while. That's cool. You want to go to France, for New Year's, some shit like that. Go to Rio for a quick little vacation. That's cool. But like, I think in general, I could have skipped 90% of the places I went.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I liked it. I enjoyed it,
Okay.
but it's so many things I missed. I missed so much in my personal life. And let's not talk about relationships.
Okay. Are
You know,
you okay with the trade off that for what you missed?
oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine, man. But I gave my 20s to that. My 20s and my 30s to that. My early 30s. I'm still in my early 30s, but the beginning of my 30s was travel, and I understood that it was a fool's journey. Um, I think that you can still be a well-educated person if you travel once every couple of years.
Mhm.
You know, um, You don't
Well,
need to do this at nauseum.
okay. Well, it sounds like to me there's different levels of traveling, and from what I've gathered online, I see a lot of base level, base surface traveling, and not
Because it's
really.
base level people, bro.
Okay.
That's the problem, right? Like I think that just because you travel doesn't mean you're curious, right? And just because you go there doesn't mean you're interested in those people or you're interesting to those people, right?
Okay.
And so I think that's an inside job of one, getting curious, getting interesting, and getting interested in other people. If you can do that, traveling is going to be fulfilling.
Mhm.
But I also think that if you have nothing to talk about to the people you're traveling, places you're going, they're not going to be interested in you. They're not going to talk to you. If you're not an outgoing person, if you're not a person that wants to interact with people and fully, develop relationships, it's going to be a bunch of pictures. You can just buy a postcard, man. You
Okay.
know,
Okay. Wow.
it'd be way cheaper.
See, now this is the aspect that nobody dare speak of, and I appreciate your candor for that. So now I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, okay. So now I see what it is for most guys. It's showy, it looks good,
Oh,
sounds
yeah,
good. Yeah.
that's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. So, but see, there's the other thing too, right? I don't post on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't live my life for Instagram. I don't live my life for Twitter. I talk to y'all. I talk about Brazil in a peripheral way, right? But I do that because I'm not living for y'all. And I'm meaning by y'all, I mean the internet, right? Viewers and things like that. I'm doing things I'm genuinely interested in day to day, right? Without having to take pictures or write about it or post about it, right? And because of that, I think that I get much more genuine relationships
Okay.
than the person that runs through is like, I'm gonna take a picture here, I'm gonna take a picture, I'm gonna take a picture here, I'm gonna do a video here, and I'm gone. And you didn't talk to nobody. Only people you know is your Uber driver that picked you up from the airport,
Mhm.
you know? And so it's like, what kind of life is that? Why'd you spend all that money to do that?
Okay. Gotcha.
You know?
Well, hell, man. Okay. It's been an hour. I'm
Come
I'm
on.
gonna respect the time, bro. I
What?
like
Yeah, I'm gonna wait, bro. I'm gonna wait. You want to keep going? Like I really brushed over a couple things, but just out of sake of trying to keep it classy. But you know, I think that a couple things I would say that most men don't understand about the women here. One, most American niggas are corny, and they act like it, and women don't respect them for that. Um, Also, they know their image to the world, that they are fetishized. Brazilian women are. They understand that, and they usually avoid Americans.
really
Yeah, because they're like, "How am I talk to them?"
because
Literally,
of
they
our
just be
love
like,
language. Okay.
"How am I gonna talk? How are we gonna talk?" And once they realize they can't talk to you, they're not going to talk to you for it like that.
Let me ask you this. From their perspective, how do they see American black men for the most part?
I'm gonna repeat this. There's 100 million black people in this country. You're not special. You look just
Okay.
like any nigga,
Okay.
you know. And here's the issue, guys. You might look just like any other nigga, but you 30 pounds fatter and you can't dance. And they like niggas that's fit and they can dance. And so you come here, you shower once a day, you musty by midday, you don't want to take no shower, you don't even wear flip flops, you wearing tennis shoes on the beach. You look like a weird nigga to them, right? You can't dance, you don't know how to barbecue, right? You walk around lollygagging with your phone all out, taking pictures everywhere. She's scared because you ain't protecting her. What kind of nigga is you to her, right? That's how these niggas is moving around out here. We ain't gonna talk about the whoremonger because I know niggas get sensitive about that, right? Now, Brazilian women don't avoid American black men. It's just not that many of them down here.
Okay.
Okay. They don't come to Salvador like that at all. I might bump into one black guy every 3 or 4 months. Rio is another story, but they all stay in the same neighborhood. So that's again another story. Most of the black men that come to Rio are all going to stay in a wealthy part of Rio. They're not going to have a lot of interaction with a lot of black folks. That's normal. They don't work in that area. So it's not that they're not avoiding black men. It's not that. It's just that, like, one, you don't even know how to talk to them. I was in the club. I saw a group of black men. It was an all black club, and I knew they were black because they was all acting nervous and scary and shit. And so I said, "Hey guys, come here, guys." It was like 12 guys. I said, "Hey, y'all, come over here." I said, "Look, y'all are not in America anymore. You can go talk to that woman. You can go dance with her. You can go get her a drink. It's all good. She's not gonna She ain't gonna trip on you. And it was like, for real? I was like, for real, go talk to her. There's a club full of black folks. And they was all scared. You know what they did? 5 minutes later, hey, bro, we out, man. We finna go to some whorehouse. You know?
Is that their easy way out as opposed to trying to actually build a rapport and actually learn and talk?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they don't want to speak the language
Yeah.
and fuck, we finna have some fun right now. I get it. I'm not passing judgment on none of you guys for none of that shit. I get it. But I'm just telling you what we see, right? They're not confident. They're not coming down here confident. They're not coming down here ready to, try to speak the language. That's for the most part. And they're very self-doubting, They doubt themselves a lot in how they converse with women, right? And how they approach women. Like, can I talk to her? Is it okay? Hell yeah, let's go. Come on. Because I understand there's some trauma based around that. Like, in America, you can't really do those things. It's a lot more conservative of a country, but it's not like that in here.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Brazil considered to be like the top of the food chain as far as the brothers that like to travel? It seems to me like would they have these problems in, let's say, Guatemala or Nicaragua? You
I
understand
mean,
what?
I feel like this, man. I feel like wherever you go, there you are, right? Um, I would say if you gave me 100 dudes, 100 black men that came here, I would probably say it's 3 or 4 that's really like smooth operators, that's really like out here competent. I would say they're competent travelers
Okay.
that are competently handling business day to day, ordering off the menu, taking girls places they never been before,
Mm.
know a city really well, got connections with, men, not just a bunch of girls. You know what I'm saying? Got connections and friendships. They can move around in neighborhoods and different parts of the city, different parts of the country. There's only 4 or 5 of those type of guys out of 100. Most gonna be weekend warriors. Come in, couple pictures, get a couple, pieces of, some street food, and they might hit a little samba a little bit, and they out. Get a cape it in, and that's it. You know.
So when you hear men that speak on, okay, American women are not where it's at, I need to go to another country to find a woman, or when you hear this rhetoric, what is it? What's the first thought that comes to your mind, or is it
That sound cool. That sound cool. I hear what you. Yeah, that's what your mouth say. But the problem is that you are traumatized and hurt. Your mama didn't hug you enough. Your dad didn't love you. Whatever. You're bitter. Okay, and you're not handling that on the inside. All right, you're not looking in the man in the mirror and saying, "Hey, bro, I'm hurt. I'm a hurt man." All right. You're not man enough to say that, and so you think that you can go to another place and not deal with that. And the problem is, you're the problem. Okay, you're the issue here, not the American woman. All right, because there's a shit ton of American women out here. All right, and they're in nice, loving relationships. So if you're leaving a country to find love, leaving your country to go to another country to find love, that's naive. First of all, and you're setting yourself up for failure. Right? Because every relationship every woman that you encounter that you're interested in, you're looking at, I'm gonna make her my wife. I'm gonna make her my wife. I'm gonna make her my wife. Like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, reel it in a bit. You need to do some serious self-reflection and introspection and figure out who you really are, what your hangups are, what makes you angry about the American woman, right? All right, because we got to look in the mirror and say, is this something that I caused, right? Is this a part of me that is lacking because of my childhood or how I was raised, or traumatic experience with a girlfriend, ex-wife, whatever? You need to go and have that conversation before you buy that plane ticket in that Airbnb. Okay? Because some of y'all need to travel. Some of y'all need to just sit down, write in the journal, go to therapy, shit like that. You understand?
well, let
Because
me ask you this. Culturally, how different are the Brazilian women versus the American women?
women are women, you know.
Okay.
Women are women. And if you're dating black women are pretty much the same. They can be very similar. Um, and I think that a lot of you can sell yourself a dream that they different, but they not. Okay, leave the toilet seat up. You're gonna hear about it. Don't wash dishes. You're gonna hear about it. Start talking to other women. You're gonna hear about it.
Yeah.
Like the same things, guys. Like they also have their own expectations of
Okay.
you. All right, all right. They want you to plan dates just like a woman would in the States. They want you to be nice and caring, and they want you to be affectionate and shit. And they want you to remember their birthday. These are all things that American women want. All right. And so I think the thing is you got to get good at knowing who you are. One, you got to get good at being able to operate with a woman. You're right, right. If that's what it is you want. But I think that you're lying to yourself. You're really lying to yourself if you think that you're going to get some different outcome than you would get in the States. All right. Because again, I want to remind everybody, you're going to have to bring another level of masculinity to the Brazilian woman for her to respect you. Okay. You run around here slack jaw playing video games all day with your ass half washed. You're gonna have some problems. Okay. Why? Here in this city, for example, I live in Salvador Bahia, Brazil. You gotta go to the beach with your shirt off. Okay. You gotta get in the ocean with your shirt off. You gotta be on the beach with your toes out. All right. So just that alone, that means you're gonna have to be shaving, working out, and at least getting pedicure and showering, guys. 2 showers a day is a minimum. Right. So now you gotta get your clean in order, right? And then also Brazilians love clean homes. All right. They are very particular about cleaning. So you got to have a home that's very clean all the time. So we got to change our whole routine up. If you're going to be dealing with a Brazilian woman, all right, they're all raised to be very clean. They might not have as much money as we got, but they clean. Right. And so again, you half-assed your way through American women. You got to step up just to be with a Brazilian woman. If you want to be in a happy relationship or you want to deal with one. And so, that's something I think that a lot of guys are naive to that idea.
How's the healthcare down there?
Amazing, and it's cheap.
Okay. Is it
Yeah,
is it like is it similar to Canada to a certain extent or
I lived in Canada, bro. It's better.
really?
Yeah, it's much better, dog. Bro, I got I get all my dental work done down here. My boy got $20,000 worth of dental work done for $3,000 US.
Okay.
Yeah, you talking about women getting breast implants that cost $15,000 in the States, $3,000 US, and they look great. You know,
Wow.
I think some
Okay.
of the best dentists in the world, some of the best dentists in the world are here. You know, um, my dentist office is amazing. He has big screen TVs in all the ceilings. He has beer in there. He has a coffee machine. He got like 4 receptionists. It's fucking awesome.
So
You
is
know,
there like a Kaiser Permanente version that you pay into, like a Cobra, or is it
I have a health plan.
okay?
I have a health plan. It's like $140 a month, and then I can go to all they call them hospital particular. So it's basically like a private hospital.
Okay.
Um, that's where I go. But you also have public hospitals, and they take care of it. Like medicine is super cheap, super duper cheap, guys. Like they got all this generic medicine. You go to the pharmacy, you spend like even in Hayal, if you went dollar to Hayal, like there's medicine here that's 50 Hayal. 50 Hayal is $10, or like $9.40, some shit like that. They have medicine here that's 50 reais, that's in the States, that's $200. All right. That would be 1,000 reais. Even if you went currency to currency at equal value, they're still cheaper. That's like you can get all this medicine that's just amazing. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just easy to get. And I got my eyes checked, I got my teeth taken care of several times.
Okay.
Um, it's just I can't speak highly enough about the Brazilian health system. It's amazing.
So it's easy to say that their healthcare system is actually about healthcare.
Oh yeah, they making sure you're okay. You can go and get checkups, guys. Like poor people getting checkups all the time. They doing health consultations. Like all my friends here go to the doctor. Like, why don't you go to the doctor? See, I'm like, do you know how much it costs to go to the doctor? We're not even in a routine of going to the doctor.
Mhm.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
It's young folks or old folks. It can be quite inexpensive. So, my parents when they need to get their dental work done, they need to do some they need to get teeth implant and stuff like that. They come in here. I'll pay for that.
Okay. Okay. The banking.
Shitty.
Okay.
Shitty. Do not get a Brazilian bank account if you don't have to. But if you have to, you're gonna have to. You'll probably be a person that's gonna be like me or my friends. You're gonna be a visa holder, right? And so
Mhm.
you need to be a resident. It's a registered national foreign or some shit. It's in. I got other words in Portuguese, but anyway, it allows you to open up a bank account, but it can be a level of bureaucracy here that you just never seen in the United States.
So
So
the bureaucracy from top to bottom in every aspect of
it's shit,
wow.
dog. It's like tear jerking, bro. Like it sucks. Like it really, really, really sucks.
How has it personally affected you, if any, at all?
I mean, like things like They would take, like for example, getting something notarized in the States. You go to UPS, getting notarized, you in and out 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Here it's gonna take an hour. Lines, lots of lines, banks, lines at the bank, bro. It's like, what the fuck is this about, man? You'd be at a bank all day long doing something. Where in the States, we go to the bank, nobody's in the bank more than 30 minutes. All right. Here you can be at the bank, you can waste a whole day at the bank. So yeah, banking sucks. But they have a credit system that you can get into that's pretty interesting. We can talk about that another time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can get Brazilian credit cards and all that stuff, but you gotta get your visa first.
Okay. I'm gonna leave this here.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave this here. I definitely want to bring you back, bro, because
Or
you gave me a lot to process. And I'm just like, God damn, how come no one ever? I mean, you're legit the first person that's ever breaking Brazil down, like, and because I've seen other Brazilian, and all they talk about is the women. I'm just like, it's got to be more to that than this. Like,
they only talk about women because they're there for 3 weeks, dog. Like, bro, like, this is my problem, man. This is my problem with these guys, man. They are taking the Cliff Notes version of these countries.
Yeah.
You go to 2 neighborhoods in one major city and you talking about Brazil. No, motherfucker, talk about them neighborhoods. It'd be like, you go to Atlanta and you go to Buckhead, you go to Sandy Springs. Atlanta's like this. No, you went to Buckhead and Sandy Springs. Buckhead and Sandy Springs is like that.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I think that for the viewer, they don't know that. They think, well, shit, Brazil's like that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just, there's a lot of misconceptions. I really need to post more content, guys, but I'll be living, man. I have a really cool life.
You don't have time. I get it. I get it.
And I really don't want to show y'all my life because I don't want to bump into you, because I see a lot of lames here, It's a lot of cool guys here. I see a lot of lames. So I'm like, I don't want to bring none of these people here. So I just don't talk about it. I don't post videos. I don't do any of that. But I think I'm playing both sides of the fence, guys, just because I know y'all get so much positive about this country, and these YouTubers give y'all so much about how cool everything is for them. But I see where they be posting at. They be posting these little weak ass hotel rooms. I don't know if y'all noticed, but it's an echo in my house because it's big as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like but they ain't showing you those shit like that, right? And I think that these YouTubers need to get real, and we need to understand that, hey, look, man, you here for a week and a half, 2 weeks, that's cool, dog. But you ain't really like that. Because if you was like that, I'd be bumping into you at these spots. And I don't bump to none of these motherfuckers. So, that's that. But yeah, man, I'm really opinionated, by the way, guys. I just don't be on YouTube like that. Also, I meant what I said about that guy being a pussy. If we scroll back, I meant it. I hate that mindset of being scared. Black people can be anywhere in this world. Okay, we have struggled and fought too long to be in these places for us to now be scared. You scared of a white person for real? That's what you scared of, some white folks. You say you scared of somebody calling out your name. That's how weak you are. I just want everybody to understand that mindset, right? Of that, keep your black ass out of that. Like, come on, man. Black people was climbing Mount Everest like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. Black folks going to Antarctica and all this stuff, guys. Know your black history. Why are we scared now to do things that we're able to do? You are qualified to get a passport, okay? You are qualified to travel. You're qualified to go to these nice restaurants. We have a place there, guys. All right? That's what I am trying to show you all, okay? That's my main focus. I want to show you all what is possible when you have freedom. I am free. Freedom is for sale, okay? We got to go earn it. We got to go buy it, okay? And once we buy it, we got to enjoy it, all right? I sleep with my windows open, and I hear the ocean every day. I wake up in the morning, I see the ocean and the blue sky. I see all these little islands right here, and I go to these islands on the weekdays. I go on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Hey, bro, you want to go to the island? Yeah, hell yeah, let's go get a boat. And we go. I want that for y'all, but we cannot. We got to push back on lack mindset, fear-based mindsets about what we can and can't do, right? Because I see the same thing here with these black folks in Brazil, all right? I had a friend, guys. I'm gonna let Sly wrap this up. I had a friend. He didn't go to the movies until he was 15 years old because he thought it was just for rich folks. And he got there and he realized he could afford to go to the movies. But he was a black guy. And he thought the movies was just for rich folk, rich white folk. That's the same mindset y'all got when y'all say this stupid shit y'all be on. Okay?
That's crazy. If anyone wants to get into the insurance adjuster, where can they find you? Shout yourself out. All that good
Twitter,
stuff.
guys. Twitter. Stephen Story at Stephen Story. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
Twitter is still king. I try and tell people like Twitter ain't going anywhere.
no, no, it's too much. The analytics are too good, and you can get information out too fast.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah, guys. What you're seeing on this name right here, just put an at in front of it. Take the space out, guys. That's my name on Twitter. Sly, appreciate you having me on.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I definitely want to bring you back, man, because
Oh yeah, and we went over a bunch of stuff. And like I said, I'm actually even more opinionated. It is. I'm giving y'all the little B-rated version, PG-rated version, right? But I will say I saw a few comments there. Leo was on there. He's talking about Rio in February. I really don't like Rio that much. To be real with you, February is big here in Salvador with Imanjar, and we getting ready for Carnival here. So I'm gonna be in Salvador, bro. So you welcome to come up here, kick with me. But I'm not a fan of Rio. I don't like the Americans I see there, so I don't like bumping into Americans in Rio. So I don't like
you
going there.
become too touristy. Is that the problem?
Well, no, it's not that it's touristy. It's just that I don't like the people I meet there.
Okay,
So I don't want to meet them. So if I stay out of Rio, I won't meet them. You know, yeah. So that's the thing, guys. Like when y'all living out the country, like you gotta think about it. Whoever you would hang out with stateside, that's who you would hang out with when you get out of the country.
okay,
And so I mean, a lot of guys I would not hang out with.
okay,
You know, like if you don't speak Portuguese, we're not hanging out.
okay.
It's not happening. I'm not babysitting nobody. If you can't order out the menu, if you can't talk to a woman, if you can't ask for a bathroom, if you can't talk to the cops or ask for help, all right, we're not hanging out. Don't even hit me up. You know, all my friends are fluent in Portuguese because we all did the work. Every single one of them speak a level of Portuguese, or they're fluent or more fluent than me. I'm not playing that shit, because I know I'm dealing with a serious person if they're fluent in Portuguese. If you over here fucking around Duolingo, guys, hit me up in 2 years. You know, I don't want to. I'm not pulling you around the city. I'm not a tour guide. I'm a businessman. I'm not wasting my time talking about shit. You're not gonna pay me to consult you about nothing. And that's only because I hear this all the time. All right, I get a
No,
little rant, guys, but I gotta make all that shit clear. Y'all cool though. I appreciate you. Don't hit me up about that shit because I'm not helping you. All right, so that's it.
my man Steven Story, bro. I gotta bring you back.
Yeah,
When you're done conquering the rest of Brazil, it's let me, you're
come
always
on, man.
welcome here.
Come on, come on, come on.
My
Yeah,
man. All right, brother. Go ahead and get you some rest, man. I know it's late over there.
it's on, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm about to. My phone about to die. I'm gonna
Cool.
show you my kitchen. I'm gonna show you my kitchen. I ain't gonna show you my whole house. I'm gonna show you my kitchen now. Show you my kitchen out, man. 'Cause,
Okay.
man, I be cooking a lot, man. I love to cook here. So I had dinner parties over here like 2 times a week, man. I cook. I bring all the Americans over here. We have like 12 people over here. We have like Americans, Brazilians, and we just be talking and cooking and eating, man, drinking, having a ball.
That's what's
Guys, I
up.
appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody that was coming. I missed all y'all's comments. I was talking to Sly. I appreciate y'all. And if you was hating, just remember, I have an ocean view in every room in my house, and you don't. Okay, so that's what I wake up to, and you wake up to whatever bullshit you got going on. If you hate, all right. So anyway, guys, Sly, I appreciate you,
Yes,
man.
sir. You got it, bro. You have a good one.
All right, man. You too.
My man. Hey. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, but he brought it. He brought it. Cooling. Bro, thank you for the 5 on the super chat. I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna talk about Kelsey's testimony on the stand. And yeah, so give me about 15, 20 minutes. And yeah, I'll be back. Cool. And thank you, bro. Hope everybody got some out of it. I fucks with Steven. Like I fucks with him. So that's he's my Twitter guy. So hopefully everybody got some out of it. Yeah, we'll do this again. But give me about 20 minutes. I'll be right back. All right, y'all have a good one. Peace.